Hello again, everyone, and welcome back to another edition of In Ohio Country Today. Big Dan Wilson alongside of Gary Jackson, and we're in Bainbridge, Ohio. Why don't you tell the folks where Bainbridge is, Gary?
It's actually sort of between Chillicothe and Hillsboro. Of course, that's south of I-70, but we're in Bainbridge at the Paxton's Theater. So that is even more important, and we'll be telling folks a little bit about the theater here and the history. And my gosh, history just sort of comes alive when you're down here.
Well, what's really exciting is that every time we travel the state of Ohio, we always find these hidden gems, and this truly is a hidden gem. We'll have information on our website linked to the Paxton Theater, but this is a beautiful place and beautiful God's country, and we're here tonight to support one of our sponsors, the Richard Litch Band, and once again, it's just a beautiful place, a beautiful location. We really encourage people to go online and check it out, and we have a couple of feature stories about the theater and, of course, with Richard.
So that means don't touch that dial. Stay tuned because we have a lot of entertainment to pass along.
All that and more this week in Ohio Country Today.
Welcome to the 30-second tour of your local Poet plant. Local producers sell us tons of their grain. We grind it, mix it with water and special enzymes. The result is fermented, distilled, and dehydrated until it's 200 proof alcohol. Corn oil is extracted, and protein and nutrients are condensed, dried, and turned into animal feed, bringing our tour to an end with high-protein feed and cleaner-burning high-octane fuel. Visit poet.com to learn more.
Automate your existing sliding doors with Propel Automation of Ohio. Automate up to 60-foot twin sliding shed or barn doors with their award-winning patented system. And now Propel Automation of Ohio is part of Ohio Agribility Program, allowing Ohio farmers and farm families who are coping with disabilities or long-term health conditions to automate their doors. For security, safety, convenience, remember Propel Automation of Ohio. Check us out on the web at propelohio.com.
Hello once again, everybody. We're in Bainbridge, Ohio at the Paxton Theater, and if you've never been here, you're missing something. I tell you, you've got to be down here. Richard Lynch, who we're going to be talking to and catching up a little bit from where we were, well, last fall, I guess, before the winter really got here. We're going to find out a little bit more about what you've been doing, but I had a question. Now, you've been pretty successful with some of your songs. When you've got a top 10 song, a number one song, do you, just sort of calm things and bask in that glory, or do you sort of hold your horses and then start writing more while you're up on top? How does that work?
Well, for me, it's just a situation where I try to stay there. It's all these years of getting here, so now you got to stay here.
Is that harder?
It's a lot harder. Really, it's so much enjoyable for me now to be, doing what we do and being able to take the agricultural way of life, because that's for me, that's first and foremost for me. I was born on a farm. I raised hay, I raised horses and donkeys, and I get to play country music, and to me, it's all relative. The farming industry is just second nature because it's country way of life, it's country music, it's country all the way around for me. And when I get to write my songs or do a song that connects with me or with the audience, I want to make sure that I've lived that experience. And for me to write a song, I've got to pretty well live it. And, there's a whole bunch of writers out there that can write especially great songs and different things. But for me, I want to make sure that I come across as being truthful and I've lived that experience. And country music is definitely that for me.
No, Richard, I'm not going to call you a snowbird, but you're like a lot of people in Ohio. When the weather gets cold, you like to go to places that are warm. And you've had a pretty good successful winter, haven't you?
We did. We started playing in Brownsville, Texas, the 16th day of January, and we played all the way from Brownsville, Texas, up to beyond McAllen, Texas, which is about a 100-mile radius. All through South Texas, we had a ball playing down there. We played the 28th. The last day in Texas was the 28th of February. Drove home, took 2 days to get back there, and we played up here in Cincinnati, Ohio that Friday and Saturday night. And some folks said to me, Richard, says, your wife letting you had a couple of days off. I said, yep, so I could drive both those days to get home.
Well, actually, you got back, a story I hear was you weren't unoccupied too long. Somebody was calling and asking for something.
Yeah, we got home. We just got a recent trip back home from Florida. We played in Daytona Beach, Florida this past weekend. And I got home at 3 o'clock in the morning. Well, about 7:30, quarter to 8, my phone rings, and the guy says, "Hey, I need some hay from you." I says, "Yeah, what are you looking for?" He told me. I said, "Well, it's just not 8 o'clock. Can we put this off till 11? So we put it off till 11 o'clock, and we loaded 100 bales, and he was happy, I was happy, and I went back to bed.
So you're touching a little bit, maybe the tip of the iceberg on some of the responsibilities back home in addition to your music. You've had a really early life in music. I remember from before you were telling me that your dad sort of pulled you along, so to speak.
Absolutely. I'm second generation country music. By that, I knew my dad was an extremely talented gentleman, and I was fortunate enough to grow up in a household where, I would wake up in the morning and Dad would have the country music sitting there on the table while he was drinking his coffee. And some of my best memories in life, before we'd go out and do our farm chores or whatever we had to do that day, is being around my dad. And I probably didn't realize it as much then as I do now. I know now how fortunate I was then, but then I had all kind of chores to do. But the country music has always been around me. I'm born into it, and it's such a great way of life. And I'm prouder now because I can look back on what my dad taught me. And I'm really proud of the fact my new album's coming out, and I got a song that I wrote called Daddy's Words. And so it's funny how we get older, Daddy's Words resonates with us, So I wrote a song about my dad, and I'm proud to have that on my new album here. But Dad's Words has always been influential for me all these years.
Well, we look forward to hearing that. Let's talk a little bit about some of the other things you do back on the farm. You're a designer of barns, and I don't think I've ever talked to anybody that designed barns before in my life, and I've been doing this a few years.
Well, I had all these occupations that really consume most of my time. Music's always been part of it. For many, many years, I had the construction company, and I would build new buildings and new barns. And if somebody came to me with a special need, they had a combine that's 14 feet wide or tall, I would make sure we encompassed the barn to whatever their needs were. And horse people, I've always had this direction to make sure the needs for the horses, And here lately, my music has taken over to the point where all I can do is the farm chores that I have and the music. So I'm not doing many barns these days.
Yeah. Well, when you look back at the tradition of the farm, country music fans, I think, have that tradition of loving tradition, patriotism, and all of that. And when it comes to patriotism, you're one of the most patriotic guys that I know, and you go a little bit above and beyond paying, I don't know how you want to say it, paying back or paying forward to some especially the wounded warriors.
Well, I appreciate you mentioning that. My wife and I have started a Love Tattoo Foundation. And what that is, people say, what's a love tattoo? And all I can tell you is it's a scar, whether it's physical or mental, that came back from our soldiers. And that's what they have dedicated and given to us from their sacrifices. So the Love Tattoo Foundation comes from the fact that all these great men and women who served our country need a little respect and a little appreciation. So I wrote a song called Love Tattoo. And there's a really great word that I want to spread around. Mr. Ronnie McDowell, he had some huge hits in the 70s, 80s. We just recorded a duet together of the song called Love Tattoo, and all the proceeds from the sale of that song goes to help these men and women of our military. And the place where they can go is the Whirlwind Lodge in Michigan. And anybody from Ohio to California, any man or woman that's served our great nation is welcome there. So it's just a little something that I can give back, and I know Ronnie McDowell feels the same way. He did a 3-tour tour of duty in Vietnam. So we have strong appreciation and real respect for these men and women who serve our country.
Richard, let's get a little bit back to the music. When you're writing something, do you know that it's really good, or do you have some questions, or do you have to play it a while and add and take away before you think, hey, this has got a chance?
I always think it's really good, and then my wife chimes in and says, maybe you ought to change this. So she's she's the expert, and you know what? Everything she says is right. I've been really fortunate to write some good songs, and usually her constructive criticism makes things a whole lot better for me. It makes sense all the way around.
You know, I know as well as most everybody else, you can't do this by yourself, and you've got a very, very talented band that goes with you and is responsible for a lot of the success that everybody does.
That's absolutely. We have an incredible band. John Haney, the bass player, been with me for a little over 30 years, 35 years. Chris Oliver, our drummer, been with me a little over 21 years. Super guy, super talent. We got a piano player tonight that's played with me for many, many years. Played with some groups out of Nashville, a national act from right here in Ohio. Jerry Hughes, what a great aspect and asset he is to have with us. A guy named Doug Goltz, who plays steel for me, been with me for a little over 20 years. He'll be with me at the show at the Paxton. And, you know, there's so many wonderful musicians out there, and we have a newer musician that we're really proud of. Been with me for about 6 months now. He comes from Adams County, Ohio. And we're so glad to have Tim Bennington on board with me. The gentleman that was with me before, he got a job that wouldn't allow him to travel. And so we were fortunate to find Tim. We're so glad to have Tim on board here. And, you know, the fact that he's an Ohio boy makes things all the better.
Well, Richard, we all know, all we have to do is listen to know how much of a talent you are. But going beyond the talent and having the energy that you do, you're elevating everything up to entertainer. And you can just feel that with the energy that's on stage and even just talking to you when you're off the stage.
Well, I appreciate that. You know, I just love what I do. You know, people call me different names, and my wife included. But this is what I love to do. I love to play real country music, and if folks are entertained and they get to be around something that's wholesome family entertainment, I think that's all for a good thing. And I'm just fortunate that I can do something I love, make a little money at what I love, and be around great people. You know, it's so awesome for me after a show's over with, stick my hand out there and get to meet these folks or hug their neck for a few minutes and be part of their life for just a little bit of time. And there's so many good folks in the state of Ohio that supported us for all these years. And I'm so thankful and indebted to them because they believed in me. And it's just been a few years recently that's really started to explode for us. But we owe a lot of thanks to the great folks of Ohio.
Well, you talk about exploding. You stay quite busy with the band and entertaining. Tell us a little bit about how we can sort of follow you and possibly go to attend some of your concerts.
Well, you can follow me around the hayfield this summer if y'all get bored. I would love to have y'all stack some hay with me. All my friends disappeared during that week. I don't know what it is. But, but if you go to richardlynchband.com, you will go to our website there, and you'll see all the places we're playing. A lot of places we're playing in Ohio, but we're all over the country. And richardlynchband.com, that sums it up. It tells you where we're playing and all the merchandise we're doing and all the different things in and around the country. Love to see folks, love to talk to folks. Just go there and check us out.
No, it's a pleasure talking to you. Much success.
Thank you so much, and we look forward to talking to you once again.
Stay with us. Back with more after this.
He threw on his old blue jeans and dusted off his chaps. Opened up the dresser drawer, took out an old road map. She said, please, won't you listen to me? I'm at the end of my road. He said, I ain't got time to talk right now. Babe, I really gotta go. And she said, hold your horses. Stop there in your tracks. If you leave this time, don't plan on coming back. And if that damn rodeo is where you'd rather be, you can hold your horses instead of holding me. She stood there in the hallway, tears rolling down her face. She said, I can't take another lonely night, just praying that you're okay. Can't you see this is killing me? I can't live like this no more. He said, darling, I promise I'll call you tonight, as he headed out the door. She said, hold your horses, stop there in your tracks. If you leave this time, don't plan on coming back. And if that damned rodeo is where you'd rather be, then you can hold your horses instead of holding me. And if that damned rodeo is where you'd rather be, then you can hold your horses instead of holding me. You can hold your horses instead of holding me.
The Keepin' It Country Farm is a private venue hosting traditional country music. It also offers a dinner theater setting, perfect for your next event. The Keepin' It Country Farm is home of the Richard Lynch Band. And for more information about the Keepin' It Country Farm, the Richard Lynch Band, Lynch Auctioneers, Lynch Builders, and Farm Products, check us out on the web at keepingitcountryfarm.com. That's keepingitcountryfarm.com. Allen Davis Insurance Agency, with 30 years commitment to the community, providing quality insurance services. Allen is a business owner and an active farmer, and he knows firsthand the pressures of running your farming operation. Call Allen today and ask about coverage for your farm, your vehicles, your equipment, crops, and more. Call 1-800-686-2148. That's 1-800-686-2148.
At Bambauer Fertilizer and Seed, we utilize small plot trials with third-party testing at our research center. These local trials help us to test new products, cultural practices, and ideas. Our goal is to utilize this information to support recommendations we make for your farm, bringing you the highest return for your investment. Explore the opportunities third-party research from Bambauer's can bring to your farming operation. Call 888-MAX-CROP.
Hi, everybody. I'm Richard Lynch, and welcome back. Hey, we are here today in downtown Bainbridge at the Paxton Theater with our dear friend, Mr. Tim Kell. He is the owner, operator, and the gentleman who has saved this beautiful facility, put all his hard work and effort into this. I know a little bit about hard work and effort into a building, and I can tell you, sir, it is an absolute joy to be here with you today. I know the folks who have never been here are in for an absolute treat. I'm just going to let them hear your words. Here's Tim Kell, ladies and gentlemen.
Richard Lynch, welcome back to the 108-year-old Paxton Theater, the home of the Paint Valley Jamboree, the longest-running country music show in Ohio. Richard, can you believe it?
I love it.
And it's so good to have you back, Richard, and your band, because you represent what our old country show here at the theater is all about. It's so good to have you back. The rich tradition here, beginning in 1964 when Jim Sweeney founded the Paint Valley Jamboree, and over the next 12 to 15 years, all of the greats in country music. This was one of their favorite come-throughs, as they called it. The theater isn't big enough to attract the huge names and pay out the millions of dollars, but it's a place where country artists love to come and play. Richard, the acoustics here are absolutely outstanding.
I'm one of them.
Yeah, yes, you are. Yes, you are. And the fact that this place was built out in 1909, and the shape of the walls as you see them here with the side wall, the wings on the stage, and the balcony up above, and the way they built this place, the acoustics, you just can't find it anywhere.
You know, I can testify for the fact, Tim, that when we did play here the first time, the folks treated us like we were family, treated us so good. And the sound here, folks, if you've never been here, you're absolutely going to love the sound in this building. The sound technician is wonderful, but what Tim was getting at, the way the building is built, it was designed for that great country music sound. Hey, Tim, I have to ask you, how did you end up here at this wonderful facility?
I got to tell you, Richard, I ask myself that all the time, and my wife, Debbie, we have that conversation. We'll just sit in this theater and look around and say, my gosh, how could we be so lucky to find a place like this? It's a hidden gem here in the hills of southern Ohio. The fact is, I was born up in northwest Ohio around the St. Mary's, Salina area, and grew up in Dayton then. Dad went to Dayton and was in business there. And we used to come down the old Seven Caves right up the road here on Route 50. And we just love this area. It's Americana at its best. An old lumber town. There's horseback riding everywhere. I mean, it's just absolutely wonderful. Great place to live. And in retirement, there was no doubt in my mind. I'd been fortunate to see a lot of places in different areas, and there was only place I wanted to end up, and that's back in the hills of southern Ohio. So when I retired, I knew I needed a project. You know, like you, Richard, we got a little energy, buddy. And
We do.
And you kind of want to do something what you think is good for the community.
Yeah.
So I was looking at an old building to restore in Hillsboro, and a friend told me about this place. And we just came out and saw it and just said, my God, this is it.
Fell in love with it.
This is absolutely it. And it's not only the building, Richard, but you know the culture of the Jamboree.
Right.
There's so much community involved. And the talent in this area is absolutely outstanding.
There is an immense amount of talent. I can testify to that. And, you know, when we all get to see each other occasionally like we do, you know, I'll be on the road somewhere and I'll run into somebody. It's such a great feeling to have someone say, hey, we've seen you play at the Paxton Theater, or we knew you was there and we made plans to come see you. And that's a testament to our music, and it's also a testament to how hard and how much effort you put into something, because your heart and soul is put into this building.
Absolutely. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Debbie and I might hold the keys to this place, but we don't really own it. We're temporary gatekeepers here, you know. This is ours to watch over, but for somebody else to take on in the future. This building, our goal is that this building is standing 1,000 years from now. And people say, my gosh, remember way back then they used to play that old music and had these strings. I mean, you don't know what the future is going to bring, but we want this place to be recognized for what it is, a cultural center in the middle of Ohio, the United States of America.
Hey, Tim, I'd like to know, and a lot of folks like to know, where can we go to find out some more information about the Paxton Theater here in Bainbridge?
Richard, we pride ourselves at making it as easy as we can for y'all to get tickets and get down here and see a show. You can get online at paxtontheater.org, O-R-G. You can check out our Facebook page, either under the Paxton Theater or the Paint Valley Jamboree. You can give us a call here at Bainbridge 3333. For you folks that aren't locals, that's 740-634-3333. Any one of those ways, you get a hold of us, and we'll get you what you need. We have ticket sales online for your convenience, or get them here at the door.
Well, I think you're going to have an influx of great folks who want to see your music and the show for sure. Hey, folks, come out and check out Tim at the Paxton Theater. I'm Richard Lynch, and we look forward to seeing you here again at this wonderful facility.
Allen Davis Insurance Agency, with 30 years commitment to the community, providing quality insurance services. Allen is a business owner and an active farmer, and he knows firsthand the pressures of running your farming operation. Call Allen today and ask about coverage for your farm, your vehicles, your equipment, crops, and more. Call 1-800-686-2148. That's 1-800-686-2148.
Give your crops maximum potential with Full Throttle On-Seed Starter. Full Throttle is an economically priced, low-salt starter, efficiently providing nutrients for rapid early growth, critical for yield development. Utilizing the patented Avail technology, Full Throttle helps develop larger, more vigorous plants during the critical early growing stages. Call 888-MAX-CROP today to learn more about Full Throttle. That's 888-MAX-CROP.
Welcome to the 30-second tour of your local Poet plant. Local producers sell us tons of their grain. We grind it, mix it with water and special enzymes. The result is fermented, distilled, and dehydrated until it's 200 proof alcohol. Corn oil is extracted, and protein and nutrients are condensed, dried, and turned into animal feed, bringing our tour to an end with high-protein feed and cleaner-burning high-octane fuel. Visit poet.com to learn more.
Automate your existing sliding doors with Propel Automation of Ohio. Automate up to 60-foot twin sliding shed or barn doors with their award-winning patented system. And now Propel Automation of Ohio is part of Ohio Agribility Program, allowing Ohio farmers and farm families who are coping with disabilities or long-term health conditions to automate their doors. For security, safety, convenience, remember Propel Automation of Ohio. Check us out on the web at propelohio.com.
Hey, that's going to do it for this week's edition of In Ohio Country Today, Gary. And what a great venue here in beautiful Bainbridge, Ohio. That diamond in the rough, that gem that we found is just fantastic, thanks to our friend Richard Lynch and his band.
And I hope everybody had a chance to listen to a little bit of history from Richard, learn a little bit more about him, learn a little bit more about the band and this theater here in Paxton, Ohio.
The Paxton Theater in Bainbridge, Ohio.
Bainbridge.
I'm going to correct you right now.
Well, I'm so excited after talking with Richard that the mind's a little bit frazzled here,
And if you want more information, you can always check us out on the web at InOhioCountry.com.